If you're waking up at 3 a.m., read this before you go back to sleep. That moment when your eyes open in the middle of the night, the room is dark, the house is quiet, and your bladder is already pulling you out of bed. That moment is not random. That moment is not just aging. And it is definitely not something you should keep ignoring. My name is Dr. Eleanor Whitaker. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you something that most doctors never connect for their patients. Something that links that 3 a.m. wake-up call to weight gain that won't budge, to mood swings that feel like they come from nowhere, to that deep bone-level exhaustion you feel even after a full night of sleep. If any of that sounds familiar, I need you to stay with me, because what I'm about to share could genuinely change the way you understand your own body. Let me ask you something first. When was the last time you slept through the entire night without waking up? When was the last time you felt truly rested in the morning, not just okay, not just functional, but actually restored? If you're struggling to remember, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not broken, but your body is sending you a signal, a very specific signal. And most women over 40 are misreading it completely. Here's what nobody tells you. That 3 a.m. wake up, the one that feels like your bladder is betraying you, is almost never just about your bladder. In women over 40, it is one of the earliest and most consistent signs of something happening deep inside the hormonal system. Something that starts quietly, almost invisibly, years before the hot flashes, years before the weight becomes impossible to manage, years before the fog in your brain gets so thick you can't remember why you walked into a room. It starts here, in the middle of the night, with a seemingly harmless trip to the bathroom. And the reason most women miss it is simple. They explain it away. I drank too much water. I'm just a light sleeper now. This is just what getting older feels like. But I want you to stop for a moment and think about the other things happening in your body right now. Is there weight that appeared slowly and refuses to leave no matter what you eat or how much you move? Is there a heaviness in your mood? Not sadness exactly, but a kind of flatness, a low-grade irritability that wasn't there 10 years ago? Are there moments during the day when your energy just drops, not tiredness, but a sudden crash, like someone pulled a plug? Do you feel warmer than you used to, especially at night? Does your body feel different in ways you can't quite explain to anyone else? If you're nodding right now, I want you to understand something critical. These are not separate problems. They are not bad luck. They are not inevitable. They are connected, and they are all speaking the same language, the language of hormonal imbalance. A shift that begins in most women between 35 and 45, long before menopause is officially diagnosed, long before any doctor runs a test, long before you even have a name for what you're feeling. Your body already knows something is changing. That 3 a.m. wake up is one of the ways it tells you. Here is what is actually happening inside you. Estrogen, the hormone most people associate with reproduction, does far more than that. It regulates your bladder lining, keeping it strong and responsive. It stabilizes your sleep cycles, helping your body stay in deep, restorative rest through the night. It manages your body's relationship with fat, especially around the midsection. It influences serotonin, which directly affects your mood, your patience, your ability to feel calm. When estrogen begins to drop, and it begins dropping years before menopause, the bladder becomes more sensitive. Sleep becomes fragmented. Fat begins to redistribute. Mood becomes unpredictable. And the body starts waking you up at 3 a.m. as a side effect of this entire cascade. But estrogen is only part of the picture. Progesterone, estrogen's counterpart, is the hormone responsible for the quality of your sleep, for that sense of calm you feel when things are in balance, for your body's ability to manage stress without breaking down. As progesterone declines, your nervous system becomes hypervigilant. You sleep lighter. You wake more easily. You feel wired even when you're exhausted. You feel anxious for no clear reason, and your body, under this quiet stress, begins to hold onto fat as a survival mechanism, because to your hormonal system, chronic stress and famine feel identical. And then there is cortisol, the stress hormone, the one that was designed to save you from immediate danger, not to run in the background 24 hours a day. In women going through hormonal shifts, cortisol becomes dysregulated. It spikes at night when it should be low. It pulls you out of deep sleep around 2, 3, 4 in the morning. It keeps your heart beating a little too fast. It keeps your mind a little too active. And it directly blocks the effects of both estrogen and progesterone, making the imbalance worse with every passing month. This is the cycle most women are caught in without knowing it. Hormones decline, sleep breaks down, cortisol rises, fat accumulates, mood destabilizes, energy drops. And because each symptom seems to have its own separate explanation, stress at work, not exercising enough, eating the wrong things, just getting older, the real cause stays hidden. The real conversation never happens, and the body keeps sending signals that keep getting ignored. Now, I want to pause here for a moment, because if what I'm describing resonates with you, if you recognize yourself in even 2 or 3 of these symptoms, I want you to know that thousands of women in exactly your situation have found something that helped them begin to shift this pattern. Not a medication, not a quick fix, but a natural method of hormonal support that works with your body's own chemistry, not against it. Women who were waking up at 3 a.m. every night, exhausted, frustrated, feeling like strangers in their own bodies, who started supporting their hormonal balance from the inside and began to notice real changes in their sleep, in their energy, in the way their body felt and responded. The link to learn more about this is in the description below and in the first comment. I'll come back to this, but first, I need to show you something important about what happens when these signals are ignored. Because here is the part most people don't want to hear. Hormonal imbalance is not static. It does not stay at the same level and wait for you to address it. It progresses, slowly but consistently. What begins as occasional 3 a.m. wake-ups becomes chronic fragmented sleep. What begins as a few extra pounds around the waist becomes metabolic resistance that makes weight loss feel impossible regardless of effort. What begins as mild mood shifts becomes a persistent emotional heaviness that affects relationships, work, self-image. What begins as low-grade fatigue becomes the kind of exhaustion where you cancel plans, where you lose interest in things that used to bring you joy, where getting through the day feels like an achievement in itself. And the window where the body still responds easily, where the shift can be supported naturally and effectively, that window is not permanent. The women who act early, who recognize these signals for what they are and do something about them while the body is still receptive, they are the ones who come back and say, I feel like myself again. The women who wait, who keep explaining away the symptoms, who keep telling themselves it's just stress, just aging, just life, they are the ones who find themselves a year or 2 later wondering how things got so much harder, so much faster. I am not telling you this to frighten you. I am telling you this because you deserve to know the truth about what is happening in your body, because no one else is going to sit with you and connect these dots, because the 3 a.m. wake up, the weight, the mood, the heat, the exhaustion, they are not separate betrayals of a body falling apart. They are one coherent message from a system that is asking for support, and that support is available naturally, without extreme interventions, without surrendering to the idea that this is simply who you are now. The link in the description below and in the first comment will take you to something that has already helped thousands of women in exactly your position begin to reclaim their sleep, their energy, their mood, and their sense of self. Women who recognized these same signs. Women who felt the same way you might be feeling right now. Confused, exhausted, dismissed, and quietly desperate for something that actually works. This is not a promise of perfection. This is a genuine path toward hormonal support that works with your body, not around it. Your body has been talking to you every night at 3 a.m., every afternoon when the energy crashes, every morning when the exhaustion is still there before the day even begins. The question is not whether the signal is real. The question is whether you are going to listen to it and what you are going to do about it now, while the body is still ready to respond. The link is below. It costs you nothing to look, but waiting might cost you more than you realize.